everybody. So just to check in, I am doing pretty good. Just trying to focus on my classes, get everything done that I need to, kind of juggle everything all at once. Kind of still been up to the same old things that I was up to before. Just working. Actually, just stopped working recently, and just been focusing on school now and my kids and everything like that. When it came to the research, I decided to go with Anton Webner. I had actually never heard of him, so it was kind of interesting to learn everything about him, basically. While I was reading, I learned that he actually was studying musicology in 1902 at the University of Vienna. I think I said that right. Um, Throughout those years, he was studying and still practicing like the piano, studying the piano and the cello. And he was trying to write small piano pieces and different string sets as well while studying at Vienna. Um, Later on, it was mentioned that in 1904 he actually ended up going to Berlin. I can't particularly remember when I should have wrote notes on that, but he had went and he ended up falling in love with composition. Some of the people I guess that he was around kind of brought it up to him and kind of showed him I guess the roots of it all. So he ended up studying under Schoenberg. So after deciding to do that, he then decided to change and study composition. So that's when he did study composition under Schoenberg. And from what I read, it seemed like he learned a lot from him. He was able to work on different composition notes. He didn't end up making like a lot of um, works. From what I read, he was only able to write two when he was under Schoenberg during his course. Um, but after that, it seemed that he was still able to write other songs and everything like that after. Something that was actually interesting that I read in the article was that he had joined the military in 1915, which I thought was kind of unexpected since he was like so into the music. It was like kind of weird and threw me off guard that he actually went into the service. But I assumed since everything was going on during that time with the war and everything like that, that it was kind of like prone to happen. So it was like all men were just getting into the military at that time. So I felt like it seemed out of character for him, but kind of like it was meant to happen at the same time. But after everything with the war, I read some more and found out that him, Webner, Schoenberg, and some other two other composers actually had like a little society, and they basically wanted to give performances of contemporary music, but kind of not open to like the public, but mainly just for people who like subscribed, if that makes sense. Like they wanted people who really cared about their music, really wanted to listen, to basically come to these concerts. Throughout that time, they were able to publish a manifesto in 1919, and in the 3 year span that they were doing everything, they were actually able to do a lot of concerts, which I thought was pretty cool because I mean, I'm sure they started off and they didn't think that they were going to be able to do a lot of stuff, and they actually were able to end up touching like a lot of people and getting their music out there and kind of how do I say it, like sort of allowing people to know like different types of music and not listen to the same thing all the time. Um, Also, Webner was a part of learning like the 12 tone composition. Um, I read that he had actually previously like kind of experimented with something around that before he met Schoenberg. So I thought it was cool that like even though he didn't exactly know Schoenberg was doing that before he met him, he still kind of was in tune with that. So it was cool. Like maybe they were meant to, I guess, write music or or together, stuff like that, like learn together off of each other. Um, so for the song that I decided to choose for him, it was the Variations for Orchestra Op. 30. Um, at first, when I was listening to the piece, it kind of sounded like one of the pieces that we had heard before. I forgot what assignment it was in, but it was one that was very eerie, and and that's kind of how his sounded as well. Because when it first started off, it was like slow and it was building up, and then it got really eerie and kind of not for a long time, but just for a little bit. And it reminded me like of horror for some reason, so it got a little bit of eerie as the music would unravel. The tempo was very slow, and then it would pick up a little bit and then get slow again. I also noticed that it wasn't really like happy music. It was very like on a minor scale, and sounded very peaceful and kind of like just made me feel relaxed, if that makes sense. While I was listening, I didn't really hear any tonic. It seemed like everything just was together, different notes happening, not really one note that just kept coming back to. Um, Let me see. I could hear different instruments being played, but I always knew like which one was the piano. The piano was always like the one that I could automatically hear. But overall, I felt like the piece flowed very well. It was very consonants. Yeah, I think that's how you say consonants to me. Because everything just went together. It all flowed. There was never like clashes where things didn't sound right or things sounded out of order. Everything just kind of went together. Um, so I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I'm actually gonna check out probably some more of his music to see what else he had. But um, from the ones that I did listen to and this one specifically, it all sounded really well, and I'm already liking what I'm looking at. Thank you.